Hello there, vinyl community and YouTube. The months are just running away. It is already September, end of September. It's October soon. But I have learned from another channel that you should not say that the times is running away, because the time goes the way it does. I think it's we humans who have so much to do today compared to what we had previous times, that we feel like the time is running away, but we are just occupied all the time and stressed. So after that little philosophy lesson, the weather here in Sundsvall is, it has been a pretty sunny days now, a little cold and chilly, but pretty sunny autumn days, and it's time for another vinyl update, a little summary of what I have bought during this month. And September have been a really good month, even though it's more or less saved by two buying moments, two moments where I have been able to buy things, and so going to start with showing all these findings, and believe it or not, but we have all this to go through. So better start before this video will be far too long. A couple of years ago, starting with CDs as usual, a couple of years ago I bought this one. This is a great Hammond organ and sax album with Wild Bill Davis, Hammond organ player, and saxophonist Johnny Hodges, famous for being in Duke Ellington's band. This is a great, interesting album from the 60s, released on Camden. Really interesting and great Hammond and saxophone album. Of course, can't go up with the Jimmy Smith level, but still it's really good. And this past weekend I was able to find yet another album with the same constellation, and none of the songs on this CD is on this CD, so on this vinyl LP I showed. So I was very happy for this to find this one. This is recordings from 1966 on this 1990 reissue on Bluebird. Is jazz sub-label for RCA, and this Bluebird label always gives great recordings. And here we're having personnel like Johnny Hodges saxophone, we're having Wild Bill Davis organ, Lawrence Brown trombone, Robert Brown tenor saxophone and flute, James Thompson guitar, and Robert Durham drums. Haven't listened to this one yet, but I have nothing but high expectations for this one. Also, at the same moment last week, I bought this Count Basie big band. This is Live Montreux Jazz Festival 1977, released on Pablo. Interesting here is, if you take a look at this, this is actually what I think is a Japanese release, CD release. I don't know, Robert Z, if you watch us videos, even though you don't do my videos, but I got my first Japanese record, even though this is definitely not as valuable as your collection, of course. But it's fun to have. I haven't listened to this one, but the recordings is from 1977, as I said. We're having classical records here like Night in Tunisia, we're having Little Darling, we're having 1 O'Clock Jump, Count Basie classics, mixed with some tracks that I haven't heard with Count Basie before. So it's going to be very interesting, even though it's a pretty new Count Basie release. going to go to one of the main buying moments this month. I was at this flea market that was at an old school of mine that I went to 30 years ago. It was this kind of flea market where you can rent a table and put up whatever you want for sale. The special thing about this one was, of course, that it was an old school of mine, and I haven't been to that school for 30 years since I quit that school. And I came back and watched that. The school right now is not a school anymore. It is a place you can rent if you want to have parties or children activities or something like that. Half of the school were looking just the same as it did 30 years ago. And I just felt the nostalgia come rushing to me. It was a touching moment, very touching moment to be back at that school 30 years ago and realize the kitchen and the stairs up to the teacher's room were almost the same. But it was also a seller there who sold out his CD collection for 50 cents each. And he had a lot of this kind of relaxing music. New age relaxing music, but also some other calm music. We're having here my absolute favorite Swedish singer-songwriter, Peter Lemark. This is a collection that he released in 1996 called Lemarkologi, containing 18 of his absolute greatest hits. I have this one on cassette copy, but I now also have it on original. This one I also have on cassette copy, but now I have an original, and I'm so happy about that. I remember recording it on cassette from a family friend of ours back in when I was 15 years old or something like that. Then I discovered Japanese new age synthesizer guy Kitaro. This is a kind of relaxing music that you just lay on your bed and just relax on. This is from a collection, 10 years with tracks from most of his albums, like Silver Cloud and Oasis and Tenko and so on. So this one is very, very interesting. It's great to have it. Here we have a very, very interesting collection. This is Dire Straits, the very best of Dire Straits, Salters on Swing. Normally this one is not an ordinary collection to find. Wasn't for this one. Let's get to see. This is a 2 CD limited edition, and with a special sleeve, of course, black paper sleeve. Here is the original record, but here is a live recording from Royal Albert Hall with Mark Knopfler, made in 1996, and it is more or less just he plays more or less just Dire Straits songs. So both the collection and a special bonus live records. This is very happy to find this one. More collection. Also this one I have on a cassette copy, but now I have gotten the original one. This is a Swedish synth pop band from the 80s, Adolfsson och Falk, with their collection 81 to 87. All of the greatest hits. Here is a really great album. So you can see this. Many of these are in finest quality. So is this one. This is a special double CD with smooth jazz. The Essential album. Double CD album. So, and we're having the really great musicians here. We're having Grover Washington Jr., Randy Crawford, George Benson, Miles Davis, Bob James, Rick Braun, Boney James. This is a really relaxing and great, with both relaxing ballads and some slow funk tracks that are really, really great. Midnight or evening music, no doubt about it. I can only say one track that I really, really didn't enjoy listening to, and that was the Miles Davis track, because here they have chosen a track from his cover album from the 80s, where he did covers of old 80s songs. As much as I love the 80s, I want them in original. I don't enjoy hearing Miles Davis playing Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time. I think it is a little bit of a sellout. Also, I bought, this seller had a lot of records with the German band Enigma, and I chose just one, their first album, and here I have problem pronouncing the name because I'm not all that good with Roman figures. MCMXCAD. This contains one of the biggest hits, Sadness. And this is a really, really great, relaxing, well-made, awesome, well-made album. And of course it's produced by one of my absolute favorite 80s producers, Michael Creto, who also produces Sandra, one of my favorite 80s ladies. And I also have 4 albums with French musicians, French synthesizer multi-instrumentalist Jean-Michel Jarre, that I managed to buy, and I was really happy to find these 4. The oldest one is this one. This is The Magnetic Fields from 1981. Yet another album I have on cassette, but managed now to find on original. Then this one from 1993, Chronology, and little more dance beat, but still very interesting. Having this one from 97, Oxygen 7-13, the follow-up to the big 70s success. This one I was very interested in because I have actually never seen this one, even though I haven't got this before, these 2, Chronology and Oxygen Part 2. I have seen these records, but this one I never heard of. Sessions 2000, and all tracks here is named after dates when they were recorded. This is a very, very special one. This is sounding nothing like what Jean-Michel Jarre usually does, and there's a reason for that. This is very experimental, not commercial a bit. I'm not going to say that it's bad. This is the one I've been listening to, all the Jean-Michel Jarre albums. I'm not going to say it's bad. It is very interesting. It's experimental. It's special. But it's way too over the top. Very, very difficult album. And it is because Jean-Michel Jarre wanted out of his record deal from his record label. And he recorded this one just to give out something and get out of his record deal. So it is definitely maybe the toughest and most difficult Jean-Michel Jarre album. Singles. I've only got 2 vinyl singles. It's been a horrible year for vinyl singles. I hope it will be much better in October, November and December. I only got 2 then. Swedish-Norwegian Schlager balladeer Jan Höjland and his single Blått en ros, and on the other side en liten sång en enda gång. And we're coming to the other buying moment during this month. I was at a little special nostalgic cafe that they have in a community called Viksjö, a couple of miles, Swedish miles outside of the city. And there they have a cafe that they have They have furniture and everything. They have a jukebox and everything to look just like the 50s. They're having a little museum of 50s stuff, but also a flea market with many boxes of records that they're selling, and they're all in the genre order. So it's a really amazing place. And I bought a lot of records there, much 70s. And I also managed to buy a single that I got very interested in. I think it is very special. This is Benny Goodman, and in Walt Disney's Two for the Record. This is actually the songs that Benny Goodman recorded for Walt Disney's movies Make My Music. And it's really special. We're having here all the cast join in. It's the part of the movie where they're trying to get ready, the youngsters trying to get ready for the party. And we're having After You're Gone, who of course is the scene from what you see at the sleeve here, with all the instruments doing the dancing. On the other side we're having, there'll be some changes made. So this one, I love this Benny Goodman and Walt Disney combination. So this one I was very happy to find. I like Walt Disney's cartoon movies, so this one was very fun to have. Rest of the albums from that same flea market, no, not cafe, Nostalgia Cafe. Here is a Swedish singer that I showed 1 year ago when I bought one of his albums in Stockholm. Swedish singer Johan Lindell and his album Goda Grannar, Good Neighbors. Some Swedish relaxing pop music. And we're having here, having some order here. Here is one that I was really happy to find. Stevie Wonder presents Sarita Wright, his then wife. This is Stevie Wonder, and who has produced this album, and he and Sarita have been written the songs. Some songs Stevie Wonder has done all by himself. This is from 1974, released on Motown. Is this pure great Motown record? I listened to this one. This is a great album. This is really special, well made. It is a really funky and special Stevie Wonder production. Especially I recommend the song cycle, Just a Little Piece of You. It is 4 songs put into one, so really highly recommended album. I wanted to have an album with the group Player for some time because I love their singing together. I love their production. And I finally got it for just 50 cents. I managed to find their most, I guess, famous album containing their hit Baby Come Back that I love very much. So this is a really relaxing and great laid-back 70s pop albums. I like this one very much. 50 cents also. This is 80s music. Moti Special. They famous for the song Cold Days, Hot Nights. It's an early production by Michael Creto, yet again from Enigma. Really relaxing, call it Tower Disco, 80s Euro Disco. 70s. I showed before an album with Spinners, and I find an older album, not much older, 1977. Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow. So very great to find all this great 70s soul, and also the sleeve may not be in perfect shape, but I think that the albums itself are really great shape. And the one that I've got most happy about, this is highly recommended. Curtis Mayfield, Got to Find a Way, from 1974. Listen to this one. This is such an awesome album. Really relaxing, well made. Curtis Mayfield's wonderful voice. So I'm really happy. Released on Curtom. I think that is Curtis Mayfield's own label. So these were the records that I bought at that special little nostalgia cafe. Here's an album that I bought this weekend. The soundtrack of the movie Breakin'. This is some breakdance music from 1984. Not buying all that much compilations nowadays, but soundtracks of like this with songs that I haven't been able to find anywhere before. I really like to find. This is a band that I listened on old radio shows from the 70s that I got very interested in. The French soul funk group Voyage. I heard their song From East to West from their album from album before this, and it's a really great disco funk song. Now that song is not on this one. This is the album after that. So I bought this one, and I got a little bit disappointed because it wasn't. It was some interesting funk tracks, but it was a little lame. It wasn't having wasn't all that heavy disco funk that I wanted. It was little lame, little light. So I'm not sure that this will stay in the collection. I haven't made up my mind yet. Maybe it will stay for a time. Maybe until I found the really right Voyage album that I want. This is an album that I was a little bit mistake of buying. This is Karen Wheeler from Soul to Soul and her solo album UK Black. The mistake was that I realized that I have this one already. It's duplicate, so I'm not going to keep this one. Here is a soul singer that I never heard of, that I actually bought. I checked first on YouTube. Is this really a good album? I felt I wanted to check it out, not because of the price, but because I don't want to buy stuff that I have no use for. But it was really great, and I bought it and took it home and listened to it. It was really great. With a singer that is very forgotten, I guess. I never heard of the guy. Eddie Horan, and the album Love the Way You Love Me from 1978. Really relaxing. He sings really good. This is one of this year's best findings. I think this is a really awesome soul album, and this by a guy that I never heard of before. That from what I understand, didn't make it at all. And finally, yet another band I wanted so long to have an album with, and finally I found it. I was so happy when I found this one. This album, Get Closer, with Seals and Croft. I love Summer Breeze. This is not that album. This is another album. Released in 1976. But I listened to this one. Relaxing, great pop music from the 70s. Really love this one. And not 100% quality, but still I'm happy to have an album with Seals and Croft. So with that, I hope that you have enjoyed my little walkthrough, my findings during September. Let's hope that October also gets really good. It's going to start really well because this Saturday it is Record Fair, and as usual, I'm going to do a special update from my findings from that Record Fair. So I'm going to come back during this weekend and show what I got from Sundsvall Record Fair of autumn 2015. So until then, I hope that you have a really nice ending of the week, and so long.